today's world, it's hard to imagine a place where you have no radio, no cell phone, no satellite signal, that's just silent. But about 400 miles west of El Paso is a place where this happens. It's in the Chihuahuan Desert, and it's called the Zone of Silence. It's in northern Mexico, and it's hot, arid desert. The region has been pretty much all but undiscovered because it's so hard to get to, and it really is a very difficult place to survive. But the name Zone of Silence was not given until 1966 when Pemex, the national oil company, sent an expedition to explore the area. The leader, Augusto Harry de la Peña, was frustrated by the problems he was having with his radio, so he christened it the Zone of Silence. But on July 11, 1970, this area made headlines again. An Athena rocket was launched from a U.S. Air Force base in Green River, Utah, as part of a scientific mission to study the upper atmosphere. It was supposed to come down near White Sands, New Mexico, but instead it went astray for some reason and crashed into the heart of the Zone of Silence. On July 11, 1970, Henry Kissinger wrote this memo that said, at 5 a.m. EDT today, an Athena rocket test-fired from the Green River, Utah, overshot its target at White Sands, New Mexico, and impacted 180 to 200 miles south of the Mexican border. Since the missile made an abnormal re-entry into the atmosphere, it is believed that less than 100 pounds of debris actually impacted on the ground. The precise location of impact has not yet been determined, but the general area is known to be sparsely populated. The State Department has notified the Mexican government, which has indicated its willingness to gain clearance and assist in the search efforts. The cleanup effort was long, costly, and included the construction of a road through the Mapimi Desert to excavate hundreds of tons of soil from this impact site. The scale of the cleanup was due to the fact that the rocket was carrying 2 small vials of cobalt-57, an isotope used to enhance radioactive fallout with the intention of contaminating large areas of land, commonly referred to as a salted bomb. In fact, there seems to be a good amount of evidence pointing to the fact that the ramifications of a misfired rocket impacting foreign soil were not only considered prior to the construction of the Green River Launch Complex, but were taken seriously enough to halt launch plans at other facilities for fear of triggering an international incident. Werner von Braun, who some of you might remember as the famous Nazi rocket scientist from Operation Paperclip, who helped build NASA, came to investigate on behalf of the U.S. And then von Braun took reconnaissance flights to confirm the crash site. Von Braun was there for 28 days after the crash. And when they came, the Americans brought temporary dormitories, labs, kitchens, medical facilities, and set them up right here in the desert. They even built a runway, and they hauled away tons of debris. And after they cleaned up the debris, it was called Operation Great Sand, and the contamination in Mexico was 60 drums worth. But everything's gone now. A cobalt bomb would render affected areas habitable but not safe for constant habitation, effectively stuck in this interim state for decades. But what they did discover that there's high levels of magnetite in the ground. And what magnetite is, it's a mineral. It is the most magnetic of all the naturally occurring minerals on Earth. And this area has a bunch of it. It's also been discovered that the area has had a lot of meteorite activity. So they're thinking that there may be something being left by the meteorites, or maybe the meteorites are attracted by the magnetic properties associated with the mineral. Another interesting part of the Zone of Silence, it's geographically located just north of the Tropic of Cancer and has the same latitude south of the 30th parallel as the Bermuda Triangle. The Bermuda Triangle has also been a place where strange occurrences happen. Compasses and equipment on boats and planes do strange things, and maybe possibly it has a magnetic component to it as well. Now, besides all of this activity, there's also a number of strange sightings and other things that have come out of this area. Residents of the Zone of Silence for years reported seeing disc-shaped flashing orbs streaking across the sky. And they also see huge fireballs, which is probably the meteors crashing to Earth. But there's been centuries of weird events. Back in the 1850s, farmers reported hot pebbles falling out of the sky. Just to make it a little more strange, they've also encountered strange humanoid creatures. You may have heard of the Men in Black. These individuals, human-like things, appear in areas of high alien or UFO suspected activity. They're usually dressed in black, and they're tall, and they're this very pale, blonde, kind of strange-looking people. And in the Zone of Silence, one ranch family claims that they're visited by a trio of these, 2 males and a female, who speak Spanish. The story told in this area is that they only asked for water, never for food. And then when one rancher asked where they came from, they said from above. So take that as you will. The Mapimi Biosphere Reserve was established in 1977, and it's a UNESCO Biosphere Reserve. Supposedly, what they investigate here is the scrubland and desert ecosystems. And of course, it's interesting that the rocket crashed in 1970 and they established the reserve in 1977. And it is a little strange that we have this Laboratorio del Desierto right a little bit south of the Zone of Silence. And when you click to find more about it, it says it's a graduate school in Mexico. And if you want more info, there is no more info. I wonder what it is they're studying there. I'm sure it's just the fauna. The only information it gives is that it's open 24 hours. So that's good to know. Why that would be, I don't understand. Guess if you want to stop on in, they're always open, just like your local 7-Eleven, except this is out in the middle of nowhere. How come every time the U.S. government gets involved in some sort of secret missile, secret Area 51 type stuff, people start seeing UFOs?